and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Trump off the ballot. So look, I'm not going to tell any of you how to vote. I've made this abundantly clear. That is your choice and your choice alone. Each of you has to make that own decision, as all of you should. And when it comes time to voting in this political system of ours, it's fundamentally important that we all make very clear that, hey, look, our vote is important and our vote goes to the candidate that earns our vote. That's politics 101. That's how it's always been, as it should be. It really should be that way. So let's go ahead and talk about this story right here. It's from Reuters, of course. And Biden and the Democrats want to say, hey, they want to make sure that you don't have that chance to vote for third parties. Now, how are they going to do that? Well, here we go. So, American Bridge is the Democratic Party's primary opposition research organization spending tens of millions of dollars to track Republican rivals and produce attack ads. But in 2024, a deep-pocketed ally of President Joe Biden is adding a new role that could shape the November 5th presidential election. Third-party suppressor. One of my favorite subjects. And we here at Hard Lens Media have a good track record of interviewing third-party candidates who've been kicked off the ballot. This is why I'm so consistent on why I support Trump being on the ballot, because I've interviewed candidates, third-party candidates, who've been kicked off the ballot by both Democratic and Republican politicians working together to make sure that you will never be able to vote for third-party candidates or independents. So, continuing on, worried that third-party bids from a centrist group called No Labels is not a real third party. But anyways, okay, whatever. Anyways, I'll keep my bias. But yes, even they have a right to be on the ballot. But anyways, and anti-vaccine activist RFK Jr. could siphon votes off from Biden in key states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona. American Bridge has hired prominent election attorney Mark Illis to help thwart these outsider bids, among other things. So in other words, they're going to use the law to make sure that you don't have a right to vote for anybody that you want. Isn't that beautiful? A central tactic employed, flagging technical issues or starting a legal challenge as third-party candidates navigate a patchwork of laws to get on state ballots. We're keeping an eye out to make sure they're dotting all their I's and crossing their T's. We're not ruling out legal action with our attorneys if we identify a problem, and that applies for all third-party threats to President Biden. Pat Dennis, president for American Bridge Group, said in a statement to Reuters. Other Biden allies have also launched a multi-pronged assault to starve third-party candidates of financial and political support. Hey, does anyone remember when people would used to say the United States, is a democracy and, we're the best there is? Does anyone remember that? In addition to trying to keep them off state ballots, surprise. They also say they're asking donors not to send them money and warning potential candidates to stay on the sidelines, according to interviews with groups involved in the efforts. No Labels filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Justice alleging these efforts represent illegal conspiracy to use intimidation, harassment, and fear against its supporters and donors. Dan Webb, a former U.S. attorney and No Labels leader, announced on Thursday. U.S. demand for a third-party presidential candidate has reached record highs amid deep voter dissatisfaction with 81-year-old Biden and his likely Republican rival, Donald Trump. A Reuters IPSOS poll in December showed 6 in 10 respondents were unhappy with the two-party system and want a third choice. Polls show voters, sorry for that stutter, have deep concerns about Biden's age and strength of the economy, as well as Trump's threats to upend democracy. The whole thing about Trump destroying democracy. Okay, fine. No Labels and Kennedy, two challengers who are not connected to each other, have amassed among the most well-funded and well-organized outsider bids in modern political history to test the major party firewall, political experts say. So I'm going to take down this article here for one quick second and remind all of you beautiful, lovely, outstanding people that when it comes down to third parties, when it comes down to independents, we here at Hard Lens Media have interviewed a lot of candidates who've been speaking truth to power. We have been interviewing a lot of candidates who had to go through the firewall of getting on the ballot. But here in Illinois, we have a very tough draconian system here that prevents the Illinois Libertarian Party, the Illinois Green Party, or anyone else to get on the ballot or to be on the debate stage. Now, Illinois is one of the leading states that is really rough on third parties. So they definitely have to make sure that all their I's are dotted and all their T's are crossed. Otherwise, oh no, they can't get on the ballot. And throughout every single election cycle, when I've interviewed third-party candidates, the story's always the same. We got a legal hurdle to go through. We got to go to court. We got to go to court again. We got to go through this other hurdle. We got to go through this other roadblock. We got to climb this mountain, and it's all the same. Now, Democratic politicians and Republican politicians, if you're so confident in your ability, you should be willing to embrace and fight and challenge these third-party contenders. I mean, the ball is in your court. Theoretically, well, you guys should be able to hold your own, but oh, wait. Oh, no. Maybe it's because of now Democratic and Republican politicians are realizing that people are just tired of their shite. Now, again, there's a lot of talk about no labels, but fine. Okay. No labels, which is yet to name a candidate, has already raised more than $60 million and has qualified in 14 states, including Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, states that are likely to help the election. It's on ground or has submitted petitions in at least 13 more and plans to spend half of its cash in securing ballot access across all 50 states. Now, the last I checked, the Greens have about 18 currently, maybe getting close to 21. The Libertarians have about 40. And yes, there is, I think, a couple of states that RFK Jr. has secured as well. Ballot access is a very tough thing to do in this country, especially when the two-party system controls everything. We're in a super unique time where voters from New York to Wyoming are just fed up beyond belief with their options. Jane Hall, who worked in former President Bill Clinton's already right off the bat, no labels is making my hair stick on the back of my neck, and is the No Labels co-chair in Wyoming. Said as she went door to door in the city of Chennai, collecting signatures for the party. Meanwhile, Kennedy and a super PAC political organization supporting him plan to spend a combined $30 million to get him on state ballots. Okay. No third-party candidate has won a modern U.S. presidential election, although some, like Ralph Nader in 2000 and Ross Perot in 1992. Why don't you mention good old Abe Lincoln? Because the Republican Party used to be a third party. No one talks about Theodore Roosevelt and the Bull Moose Party, huh? I know there's Ralph Nader and Ross Perot have played outside roles as spoilers, taking votes from major party candidates. No, they didn't. They earned those votes. Democrats fear their party may splinter this time with a centrist third-party bid, while Trump's loyal base sticks with him. And look at this. No good choices. Matt Bennett, co-founder and center-left group Third Way, is among the more prominent voices helping Democrats block third-party candidates. The group has banded with progressive organization Move On. Move On? You're doing this, and others dissuade voters from having any association with no labels. They're also going to probably go after the Green Party, the Libertarian Party. They're going to go after anyone who's an independent. So if you are a third-party candidate or independent candidate in this election cycle 2024, Move On is also going to be moving on you. Isn't that special? We've talked to donors, political insiders, and political candidates, and our message to everyone is the same. There's no chance these third-party efforts are going to be successful, but they will help Donald Trump win, and that's a bad thing. I'm sorry, I got to do this again. If there's a talented artist, really good at animation, here's a freebie for you. You could use my voiceover, all right? A liberal, an atypical liberal, whoever they are, be it a guy or a gal, or a group of liberals are in a house. They're watching Rachel Maddow on MSNBC. They're all eating their gluten-free organic food from either Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. But it's raining outside and it becomes a violent thunderstorm. Oh no, crackling, kaboom! And they're still watching Rachel Maddow talking about how scary Trump is. But off in the distance in the window, there's a man on the hill. One of the liberals sees it, but then the crack of lightning, he disappears. Whoosh, disappears. Then there's a camera lens on who this person is. They're walking closer to the house. It's Trump, and he has an axe in his hand. But the liberals don't know that he's getting closer and closer and closer. The lightning starts flashing outside. One of the liberals notices that the man is getting closer and closer. The light flashes again. He's gone. As they're still watching Rachel Maddow spaz out about Trump, all of a sudden, one of the liberals looks at the door. And there's Trump. He kicks down the door and he says, "Make America great again." The liberals panic and they start running like Scooby-Doo and his gang, running around. He's chasing him in the fields. It's Trump. He's chasing him down the street. He's chasing him through Trump Tower, through all the floors in Trump Tower. They just can't escape him. He's chasing him down Washington, D.C. He's chasing him down every single part of the country. And then surprise, surprise, as the liberals look around, he's not there. He's not behind them. He's in the White House smiling. he's living rent-free in their head forever. Because voting for Trump, oh no, it's a bad thing. But see, it's not only just this third parties. It's not only just that third parties have to worry about being kicked off the ballot. You know, you got all these people who are afraid of what third parties can do. See, the thing is, third party candidates are not spoilers. They're not going to destroy everything. What third parties are is an option for Americans to actually exercise their vote. 50% of this country identifies itself as independent. And to my diehard Republican voter friends and diehard vote blue, no matter who, fans and friends, look, you're wasting your time with the DNC and the RNC. They don't like it. They don't think about you. They don't respect you. And so when I say, hey, look, Trump should be on the ballot, he should. I want to pull up this video here where, Trump predicts that he is going to secure being on the ballot, and he should be. He has a strong voting base, and in my opinion, he's going to secure the New Hampshire primary.
But what is your reaction? Because you're the person they're trying to kick off the ticket, but they're the ones claiming you're not Democratic. Pretty ironic.
Well, we put on 3 great justices, and you have some other great justices up there, and they're not going to take the vote away from the people. I mean, right now, you saw in the history of the Iowa primary, I mean, the history of it, goes back a long time. I won by the most. Nobody's ever won, as you know, because you covered it very well, but everybody covered it. Even the bad reporters covered it this way. There's nobody even close. I doubled up and more than doubled up the second best, now the second best. It stood for a long time, as you know, that record. But they want to make sure, I'm sure the Supreme Court is going to say, we're not going to take the vote away from the people. Now, Biden is a threat to democracy. He's an absolute threat to democracy. He's very dangerous for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's grossly incompetent, which is the number one reason. But he's also, actually, in his own way, it's not him. It's the people that surround him. You got some very bad people surrounding him at that desk. You have people running the Department of Justice surrounding him. They're young and they're smart and they're communists and they're marked.
The communists. Why? Come on, Trump. Seriously, they're corporatists. All right. Like, I've seen my fair share of communists. There are no communists in the Democratic Party. And yes, my Trump supporters and my conservative supporters, you heard me say that right. All right. The Democratic Party is corporatist. They're just like the Republican Party. All right. Listen, Fox News, give me a chance so I can explain why Chicago is not a communist utopia. This has got to stop. This has really got to stop.
They're fascists. And they're running.
You can't be a communist and a fascist and a Marxist and say these are 3 different things. Trump, you know what? Hire me as your speechwriter, man. I'll help you.
This country, they're running it right into the ground. But I don't think the Supreme Court would do it because you can't take the vote. You know, I'm leading in every poll. I'm leading Biden, but I'm leading the remaining Republicans. There's 2 of them, and they're barely hanging on. How can you possibly take the vote away?
Now, going forward, too, yes, I'm going to pull up this video here of RFK Jr. speaking with Charlie Clerk about why blocking Trump from running for president is a bad decision, too. But also, I will be ending it also with my thoughts on third parties on securing the ballot as well.
The Colorado Supreme Court recently said Donald Trump's not allowed on the ballot because they say he engaged in insurrection or rebellion.
One of the craziest decisions that I've seen, and it's terrible. Half the country wants to vote for Donald Trump, somewhere around half. And, you know, if another country did that, like Pakistan or Iran,
we would sanction them.
Well, yeah, we'd say that's not really a democracy. I'm not a huge fan of Donald Trump. That's why I'm running against him. I don't want to beat him in a fixed, fight. And what's going to happen if they do that, if they succeed, which I don't think they will. The decision is crazy. But, then it's going to leave half the people angry. And rightly so, they should be. People should be able to vote for who they want to vote for. It was no due process. He wasn't convicted of insurrection.
Or even indicted, yeah.
Or indicted for it. So, and there was no evidentiary hearing. And this is a hugely consequential sanction, not with consequence to him, but also to our whole country. And you're going to do that without due process, without him being given the essential democratic function that, of being able to confront your accusers and, all of these things that we guarantee people who are criminally charged. And we're not going to give him that. It's a crazy decision. It was a split decision. It was 4-3.
Yeah.
So I want to stop here because, look, we could talk about Trump. And look, I think he definitely should be on the ballot. Voters want to vote for him. But there's also a bigger picture here, and that is the suppression of third-party candidates, because that's what's going to be ignored. Look, libertarians, Greens, Dr. Cornel West, and yes, even RFK Jr. and anyone else that's running as an independent has a right to be on the ballot. We say to the world that we are a democracy, that we believe in the values of our system, and that the voters get to dictate who represents us. But the real truth is we have a system in which legalized bribery is running amok. We have a system in which we don't have true representation. We have a system in which the American people are being screwed over. Now, we're better than this. Now, if I want to vote independent or third party, it's because that said candidate has earned my vote. And I know that I have some of my viewers who are either Democrat or Republican. Guess what? If you want to vote Democrat or Republican, that's your choice. I'm not going to say you're a spoiler candidate or you're helping out my candidate lose. That's your choice. Politics 101 is earning the vote. So third-party candidates aren't stealing the vote. But we see both Democratic and, yes, Republican lawmakers, especially since Hard Lens Media has been around since 2017. I have interviewed third-party candidates who have been suppressed by both Republican lawmakers, Democrat lawmakers, and surprise, surprise, through an act of wonderful bipartisanship, Democratic and Republican lawmakers working together to suppress third-party candidates from being on the ballot, from being on the debate stage. And the thing is, anytime a third-party candidate has shown their power or flexed their ability, the two-party system panics. We saw it with the Bull Moose Party with Theodore Roosevelt. We saw it with Ralph Nader. We saw it with Ross Perot. Ross Perot, I on behalf of all generations, past and present, from boomers, Xers, millennials, Gen Z, and the future generations. You know, people made fun of you when made that vacuum cleaner noise about NAFTA. You were right, buddy. We're so sorry. You were right. Dr. Jill Stein, Gary Johnson, you know, when you see that power being flexed, the system panics. How can we even forget Jesse, the all-powerful and potent Tyrannosaurus, how he took care of both the Democratic and Republican challenger for that infamous Minnesota election for governor? He got on the debate stage and slammed them both, as he should, as should all third-party candidates do to these to the two-party system. We need to keep our heads on a swivel here, folks. And it's important to know what your rights are as a voter, what's happening in your state, who has ballot access, and how you can help. Now, I'm not going to tell you you should be active in voting. I know a lot of you are burnt out by electoral politics. Yours truly right here. But what I don't like is this system in which now, if you want to vote against it, or maybe exercise your independent voice, it's going to be stepped on. I don't support that. I despise censorship and suppression. I despise people who want to dictate how others should think and feel. And this election cycle, our vote, it's going to be our vote. And no matter what happens, somebody will become president of the United States. But no one should force you into voting for Team Red or Team Blue. You have the choice to do what you want. It's always been your choice.